What choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? The artisans of the Egan Eranwan Guild in Benin City, Nigeria, typically blink the bronze and brass casting techniques that have been passed down through their families since the 13th century. But they don't strictly observe every tradition. For example, guild members now use air conditioning motors instead of handheld bellows to help heat the forge. So a key part here is that this phrase, but they don't strictly observe every tradition, this phrase implies that this first part, or the beginning part of the sentence, contrasts this phrase here, which means that this first part must highlight how the artisans typically follow the techniques that have been passed down since the 13th century. So the best answer choice would reflect this. So option A says experiment with. This is incorrect because, as before, the best answer choice here would imply how the artisans would typically follow the techniques, not experiment with, because then these two parts of the sentence wouldn't contrast each other, because experimenting is not strictly observing every tradition. So A is incorrect. B, adhere to. This seems to be the correct answer because this would imply that the artisans typically follow or act in accordance with the techniques that have been passed down since the 13th century. And this would properly contrast with this next phrase, which is, but they don't strictly observe every tradition. So B seems to be the correct answer. C, improve on. This is incorrect because, like A, this would not establish a contrast between these two parts of the sentence, where this first part would highlight how they typically don't follow traditions and techniques completely, and then the second part highlights how they don't strictly observe every tradition. So these two things won't contrast anymore, and so C doesn't make sense. D, grapple with. This is incorrect simply because text doesn't highlight how these artisans had trouble with following the techniques or traditions. So D is incorrect. The correct answer is B.